decision to allow the former Bangladeshi Prime Minister to address the media from New Delhi. She has even announced, Shivan, that she intends to return to Bangladesh in December.
Well, there's lots more on that front. We'll bring you the complete report. Also on World DNA, Iran and Oman have moved closer to finalizing a proposed framework for commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. This is World DNA.
UK Maritime Agency says an oil tanker reports hearing 2 explosions while passing through the Strait of Hormuz near Oman. The crew and vessel remain safe with no environmental damage reported after incident.
Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels claim attacks on 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. The group says the strikes were part of its ongoing maritime blockade against Saudi Arabia.
"48-minute war," lasted 48 minutes. And we paid for the war with what we've taken out many, many, many times. And we're doing the same thing, by the way, in the lovely Islamic Republic of Iran.
Donald Trump says Washington is applying a similar approach in Iran as in Venezuela, claiming military action weakened Tehran. Says US prefers a deal but will prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons.
Petrol bomb thrown at ancestral home of former Bangladesh cricket captain Shakib Al Hasan after he joins a virtual press conference with Sheikh Hasina. The Awami League condemns the attack and alleges political violence.
German police halts flights at Leipzig-Halle airport after an explosive-laden drone found near a Ukrainian cargo plane and a nearby aircraft collides with an unknown flying object, prompting security measures at NATO-linked transport hub.
Three people killed, 1 hospitalized after a shooting at a home in the United States, North Carolina. Caswell County officials say suspected shooter is among the dead as authorities continue investigating the incident.
Turkish lawmakers back a bill offering limited conditional amnesty for PKK Kurdish militants, marking a step toward ending decades of conflict. The bill, which will be put to a vote soon, secures support from 360 of 592 MPs.
Asian markets open mixed as tech stocks slide. Japan's Nikkei falls over 0.5%, while South Korea's Kospi drops nearly 2%. Semiconductor giants, including SoftBank, SK Hynix and Samsung decline, tracking Wall Street's tech sell-off.
FIFA senior directors give President Gianni Infantino full support after a crisis meeting in Morocco, while admitting errors over abandoned World Cup private investment proposal that sparked criticism and even called for his resignation.
Top focus at this hour, West Asia. Iran and Oman have moved closer to finalizing a proposed framework for commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
The progress comes as Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels claimed to have attacked 2 more Saudi oil tankers, pressing ahead with their maritime blockade of the kingdom in the Red Sea.
Well, since the blockade began last month, the Houthis claim to have targeted at least 9 Saudi oil tankers. On Wednesday, the group even said that it targeted the Saudi oil tanker Daisy in the Gulf of Aden with a ballistic missile, claiming the strike forced the vessel to change course and turn back.
Just earlier, the Houthis also claimed a similar attack on another tanker, Wafa, in the northern Red Sea off the coast of Yanbu. The Houthis say they will escalate attacks in the northern Red Sea, even arguing that Saudi Arabia has begun rerouting oil tankers through the area.
The Yemeni armed forces affirm that their operations will continue and escalate in targeting Saudi oil tankers in the northern Red Sea to close all passages to them and prevent them from passing in order to firmly establish the blockade for blockade equation, regardless of the results and consequences.
With Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz, the Saudi port of Yanbu on the Red Sea has become the kingdom's primary oil export terminal, making the Bab al-Mandeb Strait a critical transit route for crude shipments.
Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry says it has agreed on a shipping route through the Strait of Hormuz with Oman and is finalizing arrangements for the joint management of the waterway.
Now, according to sources, the proposed deal gives Tehran control over ships entering the Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz in one of the biggest concessions yet to Iran. Tehran also stressed that any reopening of the strait would depend on the United States ending what Iran describes as its naval blockade of Iranian ports.
Shipping tracking data showed that at least 18 vessels transited the Strait of Hormuz on August 4, with as many as 7 reportedly operating as dark vessels by not broadcasting their tracking signals. Marine traffic data on Wednesday shows at least 10 commercial ships passed through the Strait of Hormuz over the last 25 hours.
The US president said that Washington is applying the same approach to Iran that it used against Venezuela. He also said that the United States would prefer to reach a deal with Tehran but would not allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons.
You know, it was a 48-minute war, lasted 48 minutes, and we paid for the war with what we've taken out many, many, many times. Where have you heard that before? You haven't heard that before. It's the old-fashioned way, right? It's the old-fashioned way. To the victor belong the spoils, right? And we're doing the same thing, by the way, in the lovely Islamic Republic of Iran.
Meanwhile, Israeli media are reporting remarks attributed to the chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guards regarding country's nuclear ambitions. According to the reports, IRGC Commander-in-Chief Ahmad Waidi said that Iran would continue pursuing nuclear weapons as long as the US and Israel possess them.
Now, another report suggests that Iran has warned Gulf states that any new US attack on its territory will trigger retaliatory strikes on critical energy infrastructure across the region. According to sources, the warning was delivered through a flurry of high-level diplomatic contacts after US President Donald Trump threatened to target Iran's energy network last month.
The warning underlines how Tehran seeks to deter further US military action by leveraging the threat of widespread regional disruption.
What can only be called a nightmare scenario for Kiev, air defense units failed to intercept a single incoming Russian missile during an overnight blitz.
The latest strikes have killed at least 17 people and injured more than 50 as Kyiv struggles to stop the barrage. Putin is raising the tempo of his air war, but Ukraine is hitting back with long-range drone attacks deep inside Russia. The question now is not whether the war is escalating, but how much further it can go. Take a look at this report for more.
The missiles came first. There was no warning beyond the sirens. Just a series of explosions, one after another. Ukraine says it intercepted many of the Russian drones, but none of the missiles. That single fact may be the biggest warning yet about the direction of this war. Kiev and the surrounding regions were also hit by fatal overnight Russian barrage of missiles.
The night was so terrifying, so hard. It's scary to read the news because these are people, and we've gotten used to waking up thinking, we were lucky today, and that's very scary. My husband is on the front lines, and just imagine how he's worrying that a missile is flying toward my house right now, and every night, instead of resting, he calls to ask, where am I? Have I gone down to the shelter or not?
I couldn't believe it. I'd already been in Kyiv and had heard explosions before, but nothing like today. You couldn't even hear that it was a missile. I don't even know what it was, but you couldn't hear the missile itself. The blast wave just hit the cab. It's a good thing we managed to get out of the truck.
Russia's missile attack destroyed food logistics warehouses in and around Ukraine's capital. These are images from a railway station in Brovary near Kiev, where 8 bodies were recovered from the platform.
This is an atrocity. I never thought something like this could happen in our country. We haven't slept for 5 years now. There's no sleep. People live in constant fear. We live day to day. That's all. Because there's no other way.
Ukraine's Air Force says it shot down 98 of the 115 drones fired by Russia overnight. But preliminary statistics from the Air Force shows it was unable to shoot down any of the missiles. Kiev can intercept the vast majority of drones, but still relies on supplies from allies to counter Russian missiles. Kiev says Moscow fired 24 ballistic missiles. Among them were 4 Zircon missiles which travel at hypersonic speed. Ukraine's air defenses are still fighting, but every interception comes at a price. Every Patriot missile fired is one less available for the next attack, and Russia knows this. For months, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has pleaded for more Patriot systems and more interceptor missiles. He says that Ukraine simply cannot defend every city with the number of systems it has today. Now, another problem is emerging. Even the United States has acknowledged concerns about limited Patriot interceptor inventories as demand grows across multiple theaters, which means replacing the missiles Ukraine fires is becoming even harder. For Moscow, this is becoming a war of attrition. The objective is not only to destroy targets, it is to empty Ukraine's arsenal and force the country to make impossible choices. Kiev is still striking back deep inside Russian territory, using long-range attack drones to hit military airfields and fuel depots. But back home, the strategic arithmetic has turned fatal. With Western arsenals empty and no interceptors left in reserve, Ukraine is forced to face Putin's expanding ballistic arsenal with completely shieldless skies. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
French and British troops from NATO's multinational battalion took part in the Bold Dragon joint exercise in Estonia.
The exercise took place at the country's Tapa Central Training Area and focused on combined arms combat, urban warfare and trench assault coordination alongside Estonian defense forces. Estonia shares a 294-kilometer border with Russia. More in this next report.
Well, US President Donald Trump has launched a sharp attack on Michigan Democratic Senate nominee Abdul El-Sayed just hours after he secured a victory in the state's closely contested Democratic primary.
Now, El-Sayed, a physician and a progressive Democrat himself, narrowly defeated four-term Congresswoman Haley Stevens to win the Michigan Senate Democratic primary. He will now face Republican former Congressman Mike Rogers in November in a contest expected to play a key role in determining control of the US Senate.
Taking a dig at the Democratic Senate nominee during his campaign in Nevada, Trump accused Abdul El-Sayed of promoting communist ideology and predicted that he would lose to Republican nominee Mike Rogers in November. Trump also leveled sharp criticism at El-Sayed's stance on Israel, claiming he does not support Israel or the Jewish community. He has rejected accusations of anti-Semitism, stating that he is committed to the safety and security of Jewish communities while advocating changes to US policy toward Israel.
Abdul El-Sayed, lovely gentleman. He's a man of hate. And now he's going around saying, no, I love everybody. He doesn't love everybody. Put him in office. You're going to find out what he loves. He doesn't love Israel. He doesn't love Jewish people. He hates them. He hates them with a passion that burns in his heart, and there's not a frickin' thing he can do about it. There's not a thing he can do about it because he hates them. But the polls got it really wrong because it was supposed to be a blowaway, and he almost lost. But he's going to lose to our great candidate. We have a great candidate in Michigan.
And taking a dig at Mike Rogers, El-Sayed said that voters have a choice between a senator who would support Trump's agenda and one who would challenge him.
Well, Democratic leaders quickly welcomed El-Sayed's victory. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani congratulated the Democratic nominee, saying his campaign focused on the cost of living, healthcare, and reducing the influence of money in politics.
Lift a lot more than I can. And I think we should give him his respect in that way.
Independent Senator Bernie Sanders described the Michigan result as unprecedented in modern American history, arguing that El-Sayed prevailed despite facing overwhelming opposition from the Democratic establishment and significant outside spending.
Mike Rogers is a guy who has never shied away from a corporation he could do a favor for. Mike Rogers is a guy who, believe it or not, went back to Florida so he could lick every single boot Donald Trump owns to beg for his endorsement. I'm so sorry. If you want a senator who's going to lick some boots, fine, go vote for Mike Rogers. But if you want a senator who's going to stand up to Donald Trump, then you've got your option right here.
And the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket stage is believed to have crashed into the moon in what could be another reminder of the growing challenge of space debris beyond Earth.
The multi-ton rocket, which had been drifting through space since completing its mission to launch a lunar lander, was projected to strike the lunar surface at around 5,400 miles per hour.
Now, astronomers are still working to confirm whether the impact has actually taken place. If the collision is confirmed, NASA estimates that it would have created a crater roughly 60 feet wide and about 12 feet deep on the moon's surface. Unlike rockets that re-enter Earth's atmosphere and burn up after their missions, the upper stage remained stranded in space, eventually falling under the moon's gravity. With no atmosphere to slow it down, the rocket would have hit the surface at tremendous speed.
It is going to cause a bit of a big crash. There should be a dust plume launched straight up into the sky, maybe sort of 50 to 100 kilometers up. And it's going to leave behind a pretty big hole, maybe sort of 30 meters across or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty big crash.
While the moon has been scarred by natural meteorite impacts for billions of years, this would be a human-made collision, another example of how space exploration is leaving its mark far beyond Earth. The incident also renews attention on the global problem of space junk.
As governments and private companies step up missions to the moon and deeper into space, experts say that there is an urgent need for better planning on how to dispose rocket stages and other defunct spacecraft.
What if I told you, Shivan, that you could become a citizen of the world's smallest island republic, the Pacific nation of Nauru, now officially the Republic of Nauru? It is offering citizenship by investment.
But this scheme, which is known as the Golden Passport Program, was introduced last year as the country seeks funding for climate adaptation, which involves moving families and infrastructure endangered by the rising sea levels.
Coming back to the scheme, applicants who complete a 4-stage screening process can obtain citizenship through a contribution of $90,000, discounted from the standard $115,000 fee under a limited time offer. However, citizenship does not provide holders with the right to buy land, where land ownership remains restricted. The passport provides visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to more than 85 destinations, including business and travel hubs such as Singapore and Hong Kong.
When Nauru joins the list of growing global citizenship by investment markets that has attracted those seeking second citizenship for varied reasons, including business and investment purposes. The trend is particularly seen in the Caribbean, including Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica. The first footsteps on the moon changed history as we know it, and that extraordinary journey began in a house in United States, Ohio.
Now, the childhood home of Apollo 11 astronaut Neil Armstrong is up for sale, and the future of one of America's most iconic space landmarks remains uncertain. For nearly 4 decades, a retired history teacher has preserved the Ohio home where Armstrong built model airplanes and nurtured the passion for flight that would eventually take him to the moon.
Well, the house has hosted U.S. astronauts, including Buzz Aldrin, and features treasured memorabilia such as signed photographs celebrating America's space legacy. Listed for $430,000, the property has no legal protection from future alterations. Its owner hopes that the next buyer will preserve its history by donating the home to the Armstrong Museum.
I love this house. I really do, and I'll always love this house. But it's time to let somebody else have the opportunity to be as blessed with it as I've been, and to take care of it and keep it as a part of history.
Well, Neil Armstrong, he died in 2012 at the age of 82, but the house where his dream first took flight perhaps remains a powerful symbol of human ambition.
Exploration in the face of budget cuts.
All right, viewers, this is World DNA, slipping into a very short break. More on the other side. Please come back.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week, creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One. Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs, busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs, busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
Welcome back. You're watching World DNA with Kripa. I'm Shivan. Lots more to discuss on this side of the show. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start with headlines.
Iran warns Gulf states that any new US attack could lead to retaliation against regional energy infrastructure. According to reports, Tehran issues warning through diplomatic channels after threats from Trump targeting Iran's infrastructure.
UK Maritime Agency says an oil tanker reports hearing 2 explosions while passing through the Strait of Hormuz near Oman. The crew and the vessel remain safe with no environmental damage reported after the incident.
Iranian president says communication with Supreme Leader Moshtaba Khamenei remains very difficult.
Petrol bomb thrown at an ancestral home of former Bangladesh cricket captain Shakib Al Hasan after he joins a virtual press conference with Sheikh Hasina. The Awami League condemns the attack and alleges political violence.
US authorities are investigating a reported near miss between President Donald Trump's Marine One helicopter and a passenger jet near Washington. White House says Trump was never in danger, while the NTSB is reviewing the incident.
Israel's military chief Eyal Zamir says the IDF will continue proactive operations in Gaza, targeting those responsible for Hamas' October 7th attack. He claims Israeli forces have weakened Hamas and changed the security situation.
Oil prices slip on Thursday as markets track Iran-Oman talks and hopes for a US-Iran peace deal. Brent crude falls below $80 a barrel, while investors watch risks around the Strait of Hormuz and West Asia shipping.
FIFA senior directors give President Gianni Infantino full support after a crisis meeting in Morocco, while admitting errors over abandoned World Cup private investment proposal that sparked criticism and calls for his resignation.
Bangladesh has expressed outrage over ousted former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's live interaction with media in New Delhi.
Well, in a statement, Bangladesh's Ministry of Foreign Affairs accused Hasina of launching what it described as a venomous vitriol against Bangladesh and its people. This is what they said. The statement further goes on to say that the Awami League leaders' interaction on Indian soil, held on the second anniversary of the July Revolution, as they call it, was an affront to Bangladesh's sovereignty.
It added that the people of Bangladesh will never again go back to what it described as the dark days of fascism. The statement labelled Hasina a convicted mass murderer and the Awami League a mafia enterprise, saying they have no place in Bangladesh's polity.
On Wednesday, Hasina announced her decision to return to her homeland in December, asserting that she is prepared to face any consequences coming her way.
I may be detained, I may be sent to prison, they may try to enforce verdicts issued in fabricated cases, but fear cannot decide my duty to the people. I want to return because the people deserve security, development, prosperity, and peace. They deserve a state that protects them, an economy that gives them opportunity, and a democracy that gives them rights.
It was her first public address since being ousted from power in 2024. While many were expecting a virtual appearance, she delivered only an audio message.
Several leaders of the Awami League and supporters of Sheikh Hasina were in attendance at the FCC event. A petrol bomb was thrown at the ancestral home of former Bangladesh captain and former Awami League MP Shakib Al Hasan hours after he appeared virtually at Hasina's press conference. Through a post on social media, Awami League reacted to this incident. This is what they said, I quote, "Torching residences, the cost of attending Awami League press conference," quote unquote. The party also claimed neo-fascism has engulfed Bangladesh. Shifting focus now to Pakistan. Pakistani police fired tear gas and arrested dozens of protesters in Karachi as supporters of former Prime Minister Imran Khan rallied to mark the third anniversary of his detention.
Hundreds of activists from Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party gathered in Karachi, carrying banners bearing the jailed leader's image. They chanted slogans against the government. A heavy deployment of riot police also moved in to disperse the demonstration, firing tear gas and using batons against protesters. The police have detained scores of participants. Police even dragged several activists into waiting prison vans as clashes intensified.
Well, some protesters responded by throwing stones at officers, and this briefly forced police to pull back before reinforcements arrived with additional tear gas launchers.
The demonstrations are part of PTI's nationwide campaign marking Khan's third year in detention. The party continues to demand his release and denounce what it calls politically motivated prosecutions. The government has rejected these allegations, even saying that the judicial process is independent.
Well, former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been in custody since the 5th of August 2023 after being convicted on corruption charges that he denies. He is serving a 14-year prison sentence. The government has ruled out any political settlement, maintaining that any legal relief for Khan must come through the courts.
A former Pakistani minister has now come under the spotlight after details emerged about a criminal investigation against him in the United Kingdom.
The politician, who recently won an election in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, is currently on police bail in Britain over allegations linked to historic child sexual abuse. The reports now reveal that 62-year-old Rukhsar Ahmed was arrested by Greater Manchester Police in July 2024 at Manchester Airport on suspicion of rape and trafficking children in care. The allegations relate to the abuse of vulnerable girls in Manchester during the early 1990s. British police say Ahmed remains under investigation and is currently on police bail. Importantly, he has not been charged and no court has found him guilty of any offence.
Now, according to reports, Ahmed was expected to answer police bail in Manchester last month. However, he reportedly informed authorities that he was too unwell to travel. Around the same time, he was seen campaigning in elections in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
The Guardian reports that Greater Manchester Police had earlier sought stricter bail conditions to limit Ahmed's overseas travel, but those restrictions were not approved by a judge. And Meta has apologized to the Indian government for the error of restricting Prime Minister Modi's Facebook post.
The apology also extended over child sexual abuse material, deep fakes and a series of operational lapses on the company's platforms. This is according to media reports. The apology comes after Meta's global leadership met senior Indian officials following the government's summons. On Wednesday, Meta's Chief Global Affairs Officer, Joel Kaplan, along with other senior global executives, met India's Information Technology Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, and officials from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology.
According to reports, during the meeting, the government raised concerns over the presence of child sexual abuse material, deepfake content and content moderation practices across Meta's platforms. Officials also said Meta's role extends beyond that of a passive intermediary because the company actively decides how content is distributed and recommended to users. The meeting follows recent controversy after Prime Minister Modi's Facebook video was unavailable for around 5 hours, and the video featured his first public address on the nationwide protests over the NEET paper leak. Meta later restored the post, blamed a technical glitch and then apologized. But the government described that explanation as inadequate.
Just earlier this week, officials from Google, X, YouTube, Snapchat, the Home Ministry and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, they all took part in the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Information Technology. During the meeting, the committee's chairman, Nishikant Dubey, had asked Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg to personally apologize over the temporary removal of Prime Minister's Facebook post. The Standing Committee posed tough questions at Meta, describing the Prime Minister's video incident as serious. It even sought greater accountability and has asked Meta to submit a detailed written response within 10 days.
Meta remains the largest social media company in India. According to Sensor Tower, WhatsApp has around 837 million daily active users in the country, followed by Instagram with 501 million and Facebook with 362 million users.
From the world of business now, China did not just build the world's biggest electric vehicle market, it redefined the global auto industry as well.
Years of government support, rapid innovation and an intense price war made EVs cheaper than ever. But now there are growing concerns and there are growing signs that the boom is beginning to slow. July sales have missed expectations even after months of discounts, raising questions about what comes next for the world's largest EV market. Our correspondent Adya Juneja reports on this.
For years, China has been the driving force of the global electric vehicle revolution. Backed by billions of dollars in government support, a powerful battery supply chain and hundreds of new models, the country became the world's largest EV market. Fierce competition among automakers triggered a price war, with brands repeatedly cutting prices to win customers. That strategy transformed the market. EVs became more affordable, more accessible, and more popular than ever before. Today, China accounts for more than half of global electric vehicle sales and has emerged as the world's largest EV exporter. But after years of breakneck growth, the industry is showing signs of fatigue. July sales figures from many of China's leading EV makers came in weaker than expected. Despite months of price cuts, demand has started to moderate. But for many customers, price is no longer the only deciding factor. Buyers are now looking more closely at battery range, smart features, software, and after-sales service. Analysts say aggressive discounts are no longer delivering the same boost to sales. Instead, the market is entering a more mature phase, where technology, quality, and brand reputation matter more than price alone. The price war has also taken a toll on the industry. Profit margins have been squeezed, and smaller automakers are finding it increasingly difficult to keep up. Well, some have already cut output, while others are under pressure to consolidate or exit the market. At the same time, Chinese car makers are looking beyond their home market, with exports becoming an increasingly important source of growth. As domestic demand cools, export markets are becoming more important. But they are also bringing new challenges, including tariffs, trade tensions, and growing competition from global rivals. For consumers, the shift could change the way EVs are sold. The era of never-ending price cuts may begin to ease, while automakers focus more on better products, longer battery life, faster charging, and smarter technology. China's EV revolution is far from over, but the next stage may be defined less by price and more by innovation.
China's EV industry is stepping into a very important test yet for automakers who have relied on price cuts, subsidies and rapid expansion will now have to prove their growth and profits without deep discounts. Well, for Chinese buyers, that means fewer bargains but better cars. And for the rest of the world, what happens in the Chinese EV market will shape prices, competition as well as the future of the global EV industry. Well, this is Adya Juneja reporting for WION World is One.
Disney and TikTok have announced a new partnership that will allow content creators to use characters and scenes.
This is from some of Disney's biggest film and television franchises in short-form videos. The deal also marks the first time that TikTok videos will be streamed on another major streaming platform. Under the agreement, TikTok creators will be able to use content from hundreds of Disney titles, including Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and FX Productions. A curated selection of these videos will also be available on Disney+. The streaming service will introduce a new Verts tab featuring vertical videos, a format that is aimed at younger mobile-first audiences.
Well, the company said that this is the first agreement of its kind between TikTok and a traditional media company. It is also the first time that TikTok videos will appear on another streaming platform. A pilot program will launch in the US in the coming months before expanding to other markets.
The deal comes as streaming services increasingly embrace vertical videos to attract younger viewers. Platforms including Netflix, Peacock and Paramount Plus have already introduced short-form or vertical video features.
According to TikTok, users shared an average of 6.5 million film and television-related posts every day last year. Nearly half of the viewers surveyed said that they watched a film or TV series after discovering related content on TikTok.
For days, it seemed like FIFA's top brass might remove Gianni Infantino as president with some severe penalties over the controversial plan to open the World Cup to private investment.
However, FIFA's senior directors have given Infantino some more time by extending their full support while also apologizing for the errors.
About 2 weeks ago, FIFA President Infantino was basking in the success of the 2026 FIFA World Cup that was co-hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. Now, not only are his privatization plans being ruled out as offside, but the Swiss Football Administration has also come close to receiving a red card that could have ousted him as FIFA president.
However, despite facing mounting criticism after the aborted plan, FIFA's leadership has managed to strengthen its support for Infantino. In a statement, FIFA reaffirmed its full support for the president following a crisis meeting in Morocco.
Furthermore, FIFA's top brass stepped in with their own VAR review, acknowledging that errors were made after the FIFA Forward Enterprise proposal was leaked to the media.
Earlier, FIFA's boss announced a plan that could potentially raise up to $4.2 billion based on a $20 billion valuation of a new commercial subsidiary called FIFA Forward Enterprise, FFE.
The FFE was proposed to run events such as the World Cups and the Club World Cups. FIFA added that the project could increase the funding allocation from $8 million to $20 million for the 2027-2030 cycle, with a one-off payment of $20 million in early 2027 to the governing body's 211 member associations.
But just when the FIFA boss thought that he had scored a late goal, which he felt was more than enough to win the presidency for a record fourth time, out of nowhere came an equalizer from UEFA, which called the proposal as shabby and opaque. UEFA also gave a yellow card, saying that they have lost confidence in the current FIFA leadership, while also threatening legal action. Following this came a flurry of more yellow cards. England and Wales withdrew their support for Infantino's re-election. After this, the North American Football Confederation also lambasted Infantino's governance and leadership.
Similarly, Jordan FA President Prince Ali bin Hussein accused Infantino of blackmail to garner support for his president candidacy, while former Portugal captain Luis Figo has become the first major former player to publicly call out Infantino to resign.
Furthermore, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has also criticized FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Carney said that he does not have confidence in the FIFA boss over his proposal to sell the commercial rights of the Football World Cup.
The idea that proper governance is not to disclose to your closest advisors, your chief operating officer, your fellow board members, something of consequence that you're even considering, let alone proposing, that's fatal, should be fatal, and you lose confidence in that individual.
British actor Tom Holland and his actor wife Zendaya are dominating the global box office with 2 simultaneous cinematic hits.
Well, the couple's latest collaboration, Spider-Man Brand New Day, has crossed the $1 billion mark within just 6 days of its release. And this is the second biggest $1 billion hit that Hollywood has enjoyed since 2019's Avengers Endgame. Spider-Man Brand New Day follows Peter Parker as he fights crime in a world that no longer remembers his civilian identity. The film has been met with widespread acclaim. The couple's cinema dominance does not stop with the web slinger. Holland and Zendaya also star in the historical epic The Odyssey, which recently secured the highest grossing opening weekend ever for an R-rated film. Now, in its 3rd week of release, The Odyssey is fast approaching the $1 billion mark globally, and the couple's dual box office triumphs this year build upon a highly successful collaborative history. Their first feature film together was 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming, followed by Spider-Man Far From Home in 2019 and Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021. Beyond the silver screen, both actors have enjoyed remarkable individual success as well.
Now, to talk about Zendaya, she's also a singer who began her career as a child model and dancer, found critical acclaim for her performance in Euphoria, which earned her 2 Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe. Holland, on the other hand, began his acting career as a teenager in Billy Elliot, the musical on the West End, firstly in a supporting role and then as the lead, and it has even won a BAFTA and 2 Critics' Choice Awards.
And scientists have captured the sun in a way that we have never seen before. The most detailed images ever taken of its surface reveal a star that is far more active than we've known.
Yes, it is quite mysterious than it appears from Earth. These rare images reveal swirling whirlpools of activity on the sun's surface, captured using the powerful solar telescope in Maui, Hawaii. On your screens right now, you can see these unusual feathery patterns moving across the sun's outer layer.
Are signs of a phenomenon called the Kelvin-Helmholtz instability. Scientists already know about this phenomenon. They have seen it on Earth and even on planets like Jupiter and Saturn. But seeing it on the sun at this level of detail is something completely new. Interestingly, the researchers were not even looking for this discovery at first. They were testing the telescope and checking how far its technology could go.
At the images, once they were processed, it was absolutely amazing. I remember I was sitting there with my colleague from the MPS, and we were just staring at it, and it was absolutely fascinating because it looked like nothing we've seen before, really.
Scientists say they are studying these details because they want to better understand how the sun works. The sun has been impossible to ignore this year, especially as extreme heat has affected people across the globe. Of course, looking directly at the sun without proper protection is dangerous, but these remarkable images give us a safe way to witness the incredible activity that is happening on the surface of the star that makes life on Earth possible.
So the next time we step outside, we might see the sun a little differently, but it is not just a glowing ball in the sky anymore. It's a powerful, ever-changing world, 93 million miles away. All right, viewers, that's a wrap on this edition of World DNA. Thanks so much for staying with us. Slipping to a very short break. This is WION. Stay with us. Come right back.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, gravitas cuts out the clutter.